is going on, Washington fans? Welcome to A to Z Sports Washington. It's your boy Josh Taylor, and we are live on Monday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, like we do every single week, and we will continue that throughout the entire offseason. Now that it is officially the offseason, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. I don't know how y'all feel about that game. It was a little wonky. It was a little weird. I love defense, so I kind of enjoyed it, but still just a really weird game. But we can officially say it is the offseason. Everyone, sorry, Seahawks fans, but we're all 0-0 again. 0 wins, 0 losses. It's time to get back to the drawing board. And of course, there's a lot coming up for Washington, even tomorrow. Big press conference tomorrow. Super excited about that. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some upcoming dates to keep in mind. And there's already been some movement in the offseason with some players like George Pickens. Looks like he's going to get tagged. They obviously can't do that yet, but that's going to be coming up as well. The window actually opens up on that on the 17th, so keep an eye on that. But still, there's a lot that's going to be happening over the next few weeks for sure. And I thought today would be a slow day, but a lot came out today too. And of course, I had to do some articles on that. So we'll talk about those as well, but I'm just glad to be chopping it up with y'all as we officially kick off the offseason. Master Andrew says, hello, I am here. He was the first one in the chat. Shout out to Justin Coffey says, yo. Orange Chops 42 said, won a shit ton of money. Let's go. I did a giant parlay, and the only thing I needed was Hunter Henry, like 50 or more yards receiving to win like $2,000. I think he had like 30, so I was pissed. If Drake May would have had that one pass across the middle to him or was it thrown behind, I might have won $2,000. But I hit everything else. So it was close. So I'm glad you won something. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Lights out. Sean says, yo. Or says, we back. Yeti Man, yo. Welcome to the chat, y'all. Appreciate y'all stopping by. This is off season to see what AP is made of. For sure. And that was one thing I wrote about. The Patriots went all in. They spent the most money out of any NFL team last offseason, and they made it to the Super Bowl with Drake May. And I know Drake May had a bad playoff run, obviously terrible in the Super Bowl, a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks. But I mean, he was one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the entire league throughout the entire regular season. But they built around him in the offseason. They built around him. They gave him support, especially on defense. That defense thrived. But even Stephon Diggs, that was a signing that everyone was like, wow, that's a bad call by the Patriots. And it turned out great. Boutte looked good. Matt Collins was productive. Obviously, Hunter Henry had a big season as well. But the defense. They spent some money on guys like Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Carlton Davis. Clavon Chason was a small deal, but he turned out to be super productive. So they built that roster properly, and it just sucks to look back and see that Washington made it to the NFC Championship game, and they said, instead of building around Jaden Daniels, we can be conservative, and we can lean on him. And you saw what happened. And they pretty much did the complete opposite of what the Patriots did. So I want to see the Commanders go into this offseason and actually build around Jaden Daniels. So I agree with you. This is the offseason to say, AP, what you got for us? What are you cooking? Gucci Sushi, love the name. That was the worst playoff quarterback performances I've ever seen. AFC was so trash. AFC was pretty trash, to be honest with you. That's what's frustrating too. I know the NFC was loaded, but like the playoffs were wide open this year. And Washington absolutely just shit the bed. What's going on, Jerome? W halftime show. I got so much hate, which I don't care what people think. I thought it was a great halftime show, but I've liked Bad Bunny for years now. But yeah, I love Bad Bunny. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Took over on turnovers in Seattle money line, easy money. Yeah, I don't know why so many people in Vegas were riding the Patriots, but I had a great feeling that it was going to be Seahawks. So off-season mock. So I don't know if y'all have seen this tool. Let me bring it up real quick, actually, because this is like the coolest thing that came out this weekend, and it was the perfect timing, by the way. So let me share my screen real quick on Twitter. This guy, it's Stick to the Model, which I've done their mock drafts before, but this is a new tool that they just released. So this is like low key where I've been doing my mock drafts without telling anybody. I was kind of gatekeeping a little bit, but this right here, so it's a tool that dropped this past weekend. It was like on Saturday, and I honestly did a ton of these, but it's the BAGM tool. So I'm glad you asked this because this is something I've been wanting to do, and this came out at the perfect time. You can literally go in here with the Washington Commanders where it says that they have $76 million of salary cap. You can go in here and you can start out. And like I said, I love this tool. It's on Twitter, or just go to sticktothemodel.com and it'll pop up. But like you start out with your team with cap management. You can cut players. So you're like, hey, we're going to cut Marshawn Lattimore, bang, cut. Savings is 18.5 mil, which is accurate. And they're updating this a lot, by the way. Like they're doing so many different things to improve it already, in a short period of time. They just put out a new update literally like hours ago. But then you can also extend players. You can tag. Obviously, we're not tagging nobody because nobody's worth that salary cap hit. But like, yeah, you can extend people. So if you're like, hey, I don't know where Laramie Tunsil is. Where is he at? Is he not? Oh, I guess because he's a free agent. Oh, here he is right here. Boom. So you can like go in there and mess with him. I mean, he's not a free agent, but I don't know why you can't. It's only letting us cut Laramie Tunsil. We want to get him a new deal. I'm about to tell them about that. But still, you can like just do all kinds of stuff. So let's just say we did that. Boom, whatever. We're done with salary cap management. Let's go to something else. Then they have like trades, like people are trying to offer you Dawson Knox, Kayshon Boutte, Josh Downs, Parker Washington. Those are not going to be traded. But then you can go to free agency and be like, okay, what players do I want to keep? Like, let's re-sign Chris Paul. Then you can make your contract. Like, how crazy is this? Chris Paul, market value 10.4 mil. I think that's spot on. I had him at like 10.7 or even 11. So like you can go in, let's just say, boom, make him an offer. Confirmed signing. He accepted the offer. This is like the offseason of Madden, but you don't have to play a whole season. Like you just do it. But yeah, so like say you go through here, you go through your free agents, but then you can also go to other free agents. So like you go to free agency, then you can just search. So you're like, hey, I'm gonna get Kenneth Walker, by the way. Or where's he at? 2 ends. Kenneth Murray. Or let's do this. You're pinning free agents. Here we go. Other free agents. So like Dallas Goedert, Devin Bush. You can do it by like say like, all right, we're looking at running backs. Let's get Kenneth Walker signed. Then you can do your offer and it'll pop up. It'll like populate it for you, like what you should do. But let's just say, boom, let's make him an offer. Cool, he accepted it. But it just lets you go through and do all kinds of stuff. And then you can literally go and do a mock draft right afterwards, which is crazy. You can do a full draft. You can pick the speed. It's awesome. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I know this is kind of like a long little rabbit trail, but this is something that I'm going to be doing this week, either Wednesday or Thursday, because we do have the press conferences tomorrow and already got stuff planned out for content tomorrow. And then just covering the press conferences between Dan Quinn, David Blau, and Durante Jones starting at 1 o'clock. I want to say it's like 1. I'll have to check the email. It's like 1:20 and like 1:35 or something like that. Like I think Dan Quinn goes first. I'm not sure. But anyways, super cool tool. So I'm going to be doing an actual article based off of like my mock offseason that I'm going to be doing on that tool. But highly recommend, guys. I was literally waiting for the Super Bowl last night, just doing it on my phone. Like it's super easy to do on your phone or your computer, but I'm glad you brought that up, club, because that's something that's definitely on the dock for either Wednesday or Thursday. Seahawks defense, anytime touchdown, Drake May interception, never a doubt. So yeah, Nathan Meyer said 1 p.m. tomorrow introduction. So like I said, all of the new coordinators that we haven't heard from yet, and of course Dan Quinn finally. Thoughts on Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU at pick 7. I'll never say no because we don't know how the draft is going to fall. But then also Delane is just a fantastic corner. He can play zone. He can play man. I think he's cornerback 1 this NFL draft. just because of McCoy's injury this whole season. I don't feel good about him. Would I rule it out? No. I wouldn't rule it out. I will say I would probably go to free agency to try to find that veteran corner instead of having just three really young guys, especially since Mikey struggled last season as well. You kind of want like one seasoned veteran cornerback in that room, because that's also going to dictate, like, if Mikey does get sent back inside, like if you get Delane obviously on the outside, then Mikey's going back inside. He has no choice. So I'm not against it. He's not my first pick. I'm still, I would probably do Caleb Downs, Mekhi Lemon, and Sonny Styles over him. Of course, I would do Bain and Bailey too. But I just don't think they're going to be on the board at 7. But if Downs, Sonny Styles, and Mekhi Lemon are there at 7, I would probably take them over him, which is hard to say because corner is such a premium position. And Mansour Delane is just really, really good. Really, really good. Master Andrew said, honestly, after watching Christian Gonzalez yesterday, if the edges are gone, I'm going with Mansour Delane, even over any wide receiver or Sonny Styles. Need that shutdown corner. And I completely agree with, like I said, it's never wrong taking a cornerback in the first round unless it's Forbes. But man, like I said, he's a good player. This defense just needs good players. So I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, they took Mansour Delane. I can't believe it. Like, it's not gonna be like that kind of pick. I'd be like, okay, I get it. I'm on board. They need a lockdown corner for sure. I think Trey Amos is going to be great. I still have no idea what to expect from Mikey Sanders still under Durante Jones because we haven't seen that yet. I want to see what that looks like. Where does Jones want to play him? Does he want to play him on the inside where he struggles against the run and he's getting run over by Javonte Williams? Or does he want to keep him on the outside and find a nickel corner in free agency or in the draft? Like Chandler Rivers, D'Angelo Pons, Keontae Scott's probably not going to be available because he's a second-round pick, unless teams just hate how old he is. But like Keontae Scott is like a perfect prospect for Durante Jones's defense, but I just don't think he's going to be there. So I can't wait to hear what Jones says tomorrow because we haven't heard from Durante Jones yet. The only thing I know what to expect from him is just what I've heard from people that I've talked to, cover the Vikings, and just getting their thoughts on him. But I think, like I said, I would not care if they got Delane at 7. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, no, they didn't. Because corner is a premium position. And we saw that last night. We've seen it throughout the whole NFL season and the playoffs. Defense, defense, defense. Mike McDonald, man, lights out defense. Hope we have a defense like the Seahawks. It's going to take a miracle to get that. How did anybody win money off that Super Bowl? It was horrible. Like I said, just a lot of defense. An offseason without the crazy hype and speculation, getting the media away from us will be awesome for us. You're not wrong. Tom Little said, gotta spend, need those guys coming off rookie deals. So probably some running backs. There's some youngins out there for sure. Already mentioned a couple for the offense, but like I said, I'll do my whole offseason mock later on this week and get that out for y'all on A2ZSports.com. So make sure y'all check out that website too, because like I said, I've already put out 3 banger articles today. Nathan said they have to go all out. If not, they are all gone anyways, for sure. What's going on, Trey? Love the Sam Darnold pick. Get JD another playmaker. Shoot, let's get him 2 or 3, and let's get some defense. Eric said he's used the tool. It's a lot of fun. Shout out to Abdullah. He said he did it too. It's addictive, man. It's addictive. I've probably done that offseason mock like 6 or 7 times. And I'm like, man, because it's not just the mock draft. It's the stuff before it too. Because you do a mock draft so many times and people are like, who cares? Who cares? You don't know what's going to happen to free agency. Well, I do if I pick it. If I pick free agency and I pick who we signing, then that's fine. So this is a great tool. This dropped at the perfect time. As the King said, hope they don't just spend money to spend money. The players and contracts need to make sense for sure. For sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I really liked about the Patriots. Because like Robert Spillane, Clavon Chason, some of those like big time contributors were very cheap, affordable contracts that made plays and were big contributors this season. Yeah, stick to the model is the best. That's what the website is, sticktothemodel.com. Patriots had the easiest schedule in the league in a trash division. I mean, Bills are good. I wouldn't say trash division, but I mean, yeah, schedule did help, but still, it's the NFL. I bet Laremy Tunsil gets extended. I mean, I would say it definitely happens. I don't want to say definitely, but I think ideally it's going to happen before free agency, which is going to free up some cap. I think they kind of, I don't want to say backload the contract. I think it'll be pretty even though. It'll probably be like a 3. I'd be surprised if it's a 4-year deal, but if they do a 4-year deal, it's going to be like an out in that 3rd year. But I mean, Tunsil deserves it. He was snubbed so much this offseason, honestly, with awards and stuff. He was fantastic. Would you rather try to sign Pierce or Dobbs? I'd say Romeo Dobbs, because Pierce, people are going to be surprised. I think Pierce gets 23 a year. I think Pierce gets a ton of money. And that's what a lot of people are expecting. Just a ton of money for Alec Pierce. Justin said, Josh, is there a chance we get Kenneth Walker? If you asked me this a month ago, I'd say yes, but right now I'm finding it hard to believe. Because, Zach Charbonnet did tear his ACL. Probably not going to be ready for the regular season. I would be stunned. Like, he's going to need like an Adrian Peterson type of healing to be ready for the season after tearing his ACL. So I think they are pressed to keep Kenneth Walker. I don't think they wanted to. I don't know. I don't think they franchise tag him though. Like, that's a little too expensive. But then if you pay Kenneth Walker long term, that kind of throws off the whole Zach Charbonnet thing, like paying him long term. You're not going to pay 2 running backs. There's no way John Schneider is going to pay 2 running backs long term. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Kenneth Walker is not that good in pass pro. He's not that good at receiving, but I don't care. That dude can run his ass off. He had over 60 missed tackles in the season. I think he was like 3rd or 4th. They didn't have like the total number of, that he forced in the Super Bowl, which was a ton, by the way. Over 1,000 yards sharing a backfield with Charbonnet. Like, the dude's a baller. I've loved Kenneth Walker. I'm all for Kenneth Walker. I don't think this team was that far off. Keep stacking the defense, add a weapon to the wide receiver room for sure. Watching Gonzo last night, I hope it haunts Ron's dreams forever. Man, I hate talking about it, but at the same time, like, we all knew the pick. We all knew the right pick, except Sleepy Ron. And it bothers me, especially now that, like, we have his brother-in-law as the offensive coordinator. Like, man. You think we get Jay Love? Oof. I just think there's too many free agent running backs out there at a good price to give up the number 7 overall pick for Jeremiah Love. I'm going to say Jordan Love. For Jeremiah Love at 7, man. Once again, like, they need really, really good players. But they have a Jaden Daniels on offense. They don't have a Jaden Daniels on defense. That's my only thing. Like, and maybe they go get Trey Hendrickson in free agency. Who knows what they're going to do? But this team just needs a Caleb Downs or a Sonny Styles or someone that they can just legit build around on defense, or a Delane, or a Reuben Bain, or a David Bailey, whoever. But this is a very defensive draft. Very defensive draft. If you need offense, this draft is just not good for you. Need to sign Connor McGovern for that left guard, and he can play center if Tyler B goes down. Extend Tunsil and bolster that offensive line to protect JD. I like it. Defensive head coach like Seattle, keep stacking the defense with dogs. Do we have a defensive head coach? Are we still calling Dan Quinn a defensive head coach? Because I'm not. I'm calling him just a head coach until they don't have a bottom 5 defense. Don't care who we draft as long as they end up being really good. That's the approach I'm going with too. Draft good players. That's like the funny thing. Draft good players. Jaden can't keep being expected to beat teams that are scoring 30, 40 points it blew my mind just keeping up with how many times Washington started out with a double-digit deficit in the first quarter last year. It was like eight games, 9 games. It was bad. Like the Giants won, they didn't, obviously. The Raiders won, they didn't, obviously. But like Packers, they did. Chargers, they were down double digits before they came back. Falcons, they were down double digits. Obviously, Seattle, Detroit, Kansas City. The Cowboys game, like bad. Double-digit deficits every single game. Bad. I think trading down and getting TJ Parker is pretty great. I mean, obviously, be honest with you, DMV, I would love that. But this is not a trade back draft. I don't see anybody trading assets to trade up in this draft because this is just a universally known, like I said, when I was at the Senior Bowl, like a couple scouts and stuff I talked to, people were just like, this is not a good draft. Like teams aren't mortgaging their future for this draft, especially if it's picks for next year's draft, which is like the most hyped draft in a long time. We've been talking about the 2027 draft since 2 off seasons ago, where Jeremiah Smith was a freshman. Colin Simmons was a freshman. Ryan Williams was a freshman. Dylan Stewart was a freshman. Arch Manning was a freshman. We've been talking about the 2027 draft for 2 off seasons now. So teams, like, if you are a GM and you trade a 2027 pick to move up in this draft, you're putting a pretty big microscope on your job, to be honest with you. That's just the feeling around, the league. People just don't like this draft. And once again, I hate saying this is a bad draft because you're still going to find good players, but I'm not trading picks to move up in this draft. But I would love for Washington to trade back a couple spots and get an extra pick and hopefully hit on something, but not if it takes him out of position to miss out on somebody. And TJ Parker is one of those guys where he can go in the late first or he can go in the 3rd round. You never know. I've heard complete opposite evaluations on TJ Parker. Like I said, some people have him going late first. They still really believe in him. But some people are out on TJ Parker and like he's probably going to be in the 3rd round with like Dennis Sutton and Gabe Akis and Derek Moore. Those guys probably jumped TJ Parker for a couple teams. Muhammad out of UT on day 3, which is crazy because as a freshman, they were talking about him being a 1st round pick. But I agree. He's a cornerback, for those that don't know. But yeah, if Washington's going to add a corner and they can get a good one on day 3, I'm fine with that. Muhammad would be a great addition. Master Andrew said, I think the Seattle defense also showed that you don't need one excellent DN as long as you have a bunch of great D tackles that just exert pressure, kind of wants to just get a bunch of D tackles in the draft. This is a great D tackle draft too. But I agree. Obviously Williams is a beast, but I will say like they do have talent on defensive end. Obviously Boye Mafe is a dude I would love in free agency. DeMarcus Lawrence had a great season. Trying to think who else they had coming off the edge. I can't remember. But yeah, they had like Byron Young up front, Jaron Reed up front. Who else they got? They got a bunch of dudes. But like, even like Ernest Jones at linebacker had a good season. I think they can add some more linebacker play to, their already amazing defense. But yeah, I mean, just if you're able to get pressure and dominate from anywhere up front, that's a dangerous thing to have. And Jordan Reed, the draft expert for ESPN, not the former tight end for Washington, he said that, obviously edge and corner and, all these like wide receiver premium positions, but having a really good defensive tackle is so underrated in the league today. So underrated. But yeah, I would love to improve the defensive tackle room, but like you already invested a lot of Javon Kinlaw. It sounds like they're going to bring Daron Payne back. You already drafted Johnny Newton in the 2nd. Maybe he'll turn into something, but we don't know. Orch said too many guys on our defense are replaceable. There's probably like I wouldn't replace Trey Amos. I wouldn't replace Dorrance Armstrong, but he's hurt. That's it. I feel like everyone, including Frankie Louvu, could be replaced. Excuse me, but I will say I think Frankie Louvu is going to thrive in Durante Jones' defense. So I feel like he's going to have a big bounce back season. Who is one free agent addition you would like to see, Josh? If I could pick one. Oh man, it's funny you asked that because we actually did a mock free agent, like a free agency mock draft for work. I think it comes out early next week. I'm not going to tell you my pick and who I took. But we did it based off of salary cap, and I think we're what, fifth? I think I had the fifth pick. If I had to pick anybody, let's see. PFF has Trey Hendrickson as the number one free agent. They have George Pickens at 2, Tyler Linderbaum at 3, Devin Lloyd at 4, Jamal Dean at 5, Kenneth Walker at 6, Odafe away at 7, Devin Bush at 8, 9, Breece Hall, 10, Alec Pierce. Wow, why is Alec Pierce so low? If I had to pick one, I'm picking Devin Lloyd, linebacker, because he is a complete linebacker. Excellent. He thrives in coverage. He had 5 interceptions this season. Hold on, let me pull up his stats. Yeah, PFF has him as a 3rd overall linebacker. He was 3rd in coverage, 11th in run defense, 5th in pass rushing. So he had 25 pressures, which is 3rd in the league, which is nuts. He only had 1 sack, but still applying pressure at a high rate. He's winning, which is great. He can blitz. Doesn't show his interceptions, but I want to say he had 5. I'm pretty sure it was 5. But yeah, he's a great run stopper. Like, he doesn't miss tackles. He does everything, which is exactly what Durante Jones is going to want his defense. So for me, if I had to pick one, it would be Devin Lloyd. And PFF has him projected at a 3-year, $48 million contract with 32.5 guaranteed, which is worth it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's worth it. Because if you watch the Jacksonville Jaguars this season, their defense was completely different with him off the field. He was able to just take over games. Yosoi said Downs or Styles. I'm with you. I think that would be my pick at 7. As y'all know, I've grown so comfortable with Sonny Styles at 7. Like, just after going back and watching him again, I think he'd be fantastic in his defense. This might be a hot take, but honestly, I mean, Downs is right there too. Downs and Sonny Styles are the perfect prospects in this draft for Durante Jones' defense. Perfect. Like, I mean, you couldn't build a better prospect in a lab for what Durante Jones wants to do with Downs and Styles. Eric Johnson said if denied Dennis Sutton or Derek, I think you mean Derek Moore, isn't at 71, what other options should they go to? Gabe Akers is going to be higher than 71 now. A lot of people have him over both. Nadam Tucker is a guy I think would be available in the 5th round. Western Michigan impressed the heck out of me at the Senior Bowl. But this is a deep edge group. There's a lot of edge guys in this draft that I think could be there at 71. But like I said, Nadam Tucker, 24 years old, had 14.5 sacks in 2025. I mean, strong, fast, does everything well. Look him up, Nadam Tucker, Western Michigan. Let's see. Live Life List said, yo, what up, JT? What's 3 positions or players you can almost guarantee that will target in the offseason? I'm going to throw Brandon Ayuk in there. I think that's a lock, obviously. And then Jaden Daniels came out and said pretty much he wants him. For the first time that he's publicly said he wants Ayuk without mentioning his name. Wrote about that article as well. But then also I wrote about how John Keim said in his ESPN article that Washington will target a pass catching tight end, which, you know, obviously I would hope so, because Zach Ertz tore his ACL and they shouldn't bring him back anyways. I don't know if Kyle Pitts is going to hit the market. New regime, but he's good. Maybe they can franchise tag him, see what he does for a year, and then pay him if they want to. But then you got Dallas Goedert. I think Isaiah Likely fits what they want to do. I think Dallas Goedert does too. But I think Kate Otten is a guy that's going under the radar. That's going to be there. And then running back wise, I was on the Rashad White train when we had Cliff, but now I'm thinking I'm more on the Rico Dowdle train. I'm just thinking about like the outside zone runs, and I think Rico would be one of the guys they look at running back wise. That's going to actually be available this offseason. So if I had to do 3 players, I'm going to say Rico Dowdle, Brandon Ayuk, Isaiah Likely. That's all offense. Let me go defense. I'm going to say defense. I'm going to say Devin Bush, because obviously Schwartz isn't back. So I'm looking at the Browns defensive guys. I'm going to say Devin Bush, linebacker with the Browns. Great season. I think they'll check in on Trey Hendrickson just because they were reportedly calling the Bengals. I mean, it was reported multiple times. They were calling the Bengals about, trading for Trey Hendrickson and how much it would cost. Nobody did because it was way too much. But now that he's hitting free agency, he's projected to get a 1-year, $21 million deal with $17 million guaranteed. Even if it's a 1-year rental, that's something you have to check in on. So I think Trey Hendrickson's one. I think Devin Bush is one. And I think I really want to lean Leo Chenal for Jones's defense. I think he's high up there. But then I also want to say Brian Cook from the Chiefs. Brian Cook from the Chiefs is an interesting one. Like I said, I would love Boye Mafe from the Seahawks, but he's probably not going to want to leave. They don't have a lot of free agents anyway, so then they have a ton of salary cap space. So they're going to have no problem keeping their players, unfortunately. But yeah, there's some defensive guys that are definitely like catching my eye. Maybe even like Draymond Jones to the Seahawks, if they let him go. That's another guy that's on the edge. 7 has to be an impact X factor type of player for sure. If you get it, top 10 pick in the draft, you got to. Seeing that number 2 go from Lattimore to Josh Downs going to hit like a 2000s book fair. Yo, shout out to those book fairs back in the day though. Those were the best, man. If you weren't leaving there without a Captain Underpants book, you were getting looked at. Or like the Animorphs. Y'all remember those books? Or like Goosebumps. That was my go-to. The old Goosebumps. Definitely showing my age in my 30s. Let's see. We got a super chat. Shout out to King Showtime 81. What about B Cook with the Chiefs and take an edge or Styles at 7 for sure? Yeah, that's the guy I was just looking at. I like Cook a lot. I do like Cook a lot. There's actually a lot of safeties in this free agency group that I like. But let's see. PFF has him projected at a 3-year, $36 million deal. So that's 12 a year, 22.5 guaranteed. Let's see. They said Cook ranked 5th among safeties on PFF's overall grade in 2025, producing a career year as he heads towards free agency. A reliable tackler. What's that like? He recorded missed tackle rates of just 5.6% in 2025 and 6.2%. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to read that one. Only missed 5.6% in 2025 and 6.2% in 2024. Keon White for the 49ers got shot in the ankle at an event in San Francisco. I mean, he's lucky. It was just his ankle. White had surgery and is expected to be okay. That's weird. Cool. That is strange. But yeah, shout out to Keon White. Glad he's good. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I would love Brian Cook. He's still a young dude. Thrive with Kansas City. But man, if you miss on him, yeah, he's only 26 years old, 6'1", 206. Good in the run game, good in the coverage game. He had 6 pass breakups, was just 4th in the NFL. Didn't have any interceptions, but I mean, if you're not giving up big plays, you're still fine by me. Yeah, you're 6th overall in coverage grade for PFF. Definitely high on the list. Kobe Bryant is another guy I'm looking at. Jalen Hawkins for the Patriots had a fantastic season. Probably one of the most underrated players, like defensively in the entire league this year. Who else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Nick Cross is one former Maryland player. I know I'm missing a couple. I don't see Cam Curl coming back here. I think that bridge is burnt for sure. But I appreciate the super chat, King Showtime. Appreciate you. What defensive back do you think we get in free agency, and you think Kobe Bryant comes here? So yeah, he's one guy I was just talking about. I like Kobe Bryant. I thought he had a fantastic season. I thought he had a great game in the Super Bowl too. Riq Woolen's going to be an interesting one. People either like him a lot or they're like, he's too inconsistent for me. I don't think he's going to be getting this giant contract that people think he will. Let me see. PFF had him. I mean, they had him low. And so did Spot Rack too. Yeah, Tyreek Woolen, they had him as the 46th. Well, they had him getting a better contract than Spot Track did, but they have him as a 46th overall free agent for Tyreek Woolen. They have him at 3-year, $45 million. So they have him getting 15 a year, which isn't bad. Spot Track was saying he's going to get like a 1-year prove it deal. I don't know about that. But he has just been a roller coaster. You know, bad start of the year. They were shopping him at the trade deadline, then didn't trade him. Then he balled out the rest of the season. Had a couple bad plays in the Super Bowl, but he had a good, postseason. But yeah, he ended the season really well. But man, I don't know. I like Tyreek Woolen, but I don't think I'm willing to give him $30 million guaranteed 3-year, 45. I don't know. But I'm not the one passing out checks. So that's great. Yeah, Yosoy said Derek Hall. That's the other guy for sure. Forgot about Derek Hall for the Seahawks. Styles is Fred Warner 2.0. I would love that. Billy Bob says, what about Arvell Reese? I think he also fits what they want to do. But once again, teams are either going to like not have him on their board because of some other stuff, but he could also be like a top 5 pick. For me, he could be like the one player that slips and they'll take Sonny Styles over him. Someone will take Caleb Downs over him. Or if they're looking for an edge, obviously Bain and Bailey should go over Reese, in my opinion. I think Reese is a guy that could go to like the Cowboys in like the middle of the draft. I don't have him as a top 5 pick. 7, I don't know. He disappeared at the end of the season, like bad. Like, I mean, I didn't even know he was playing. Which you kind of don't want that out of your number 7 overall pick. Like I would rather have Sonny Styles over Arvell Reese, but that's just me. DMV says, I think getting Odafe away in free agency and helping secondary and free agency draft and getting a linebacker like Devin Lloyd or Quay Walker to pair with McGee, that would be great. Quay Walker is definitely on my list too. He's not, I don't want to say he's bad in coverage, but that's just not his strong suit. Like his strong suit's not coverage. But then again, like Jordan McGee can cover. And I think Frankie Louvu can cover like when he's actually used properly and he's not just thrown on the edge of the line because he has to. And we saw that in his first season in Washington. Like he wasn't just like some terrible linebacker, but I think Frankie's going to take a big step. But once again, this defense needs like 3 good starting safeties, and they don't even have one. Like I'd say Will Harris needs to be like the 3rd safety. And same with linebacker. You got to have 3 good linebackers. And if it's going to be the Brian Flores type of defense, like I think it'll be, you got to be able to blitz, which Louvu can do. You got to be able to cover like Louvu can do. You got to be able to tackle. Once again, he was in bad positions last year. He was fighting off offensive tackles, and they just had him playing outside way too much. So I think Louvu's going to be better. But once again, like McGee can do all that too. McGee can cover, he can blitz, he can stop the run. Like, great. Quay Walker, I think he'd be a great addition, but Devin Lloyd is for sure my guy. Downs, Styles, Reese, I'm cool with that. I think Downs and Styles might be so close for me, but I would definitely take both over Reese. Joseph's an edge rusher at 71. Talking about Tennessee, I gotta watch him a little bit more, but profile wise, he's excellent. He has the length, which sounds crazy. Um, he has the speed, he has the burst off the line. Like, he looks really refined. But I just got to go back and watch him a little bit more to know if I would take him at 71, especially over Derek Moore, over denied Dennis Sutton, and the very rare chance that Gabe Akers is there. Isaiah Likely would love it. Liv said Otten, Likely, Onkwo are all good options. Yeah, I don't know if Okonkwo is gonna hit free agency because they do like him in Tennessee. He's got a lot of upside. He hasn't had crazy numbers or anything like that for the Titans, but still, they really like what he brings. Noah Washington, what do you think of us getting new uniforms? I mean, I think what they're going to do, because we've all seen the little hints they threw and stuff, but I think they're going to keep the Super Bowl uniforms as like the full-time unis. They're going to, bring out the burgundy ones, maybe change it up a little bit, whatever. And I think they'll keep the black ones, and then they're supposed to get a new alternate, which is probably going to be the spear ones. It wouldn't surprise me if they just remaster those two. But I like it. I just used that GM database and traded Quan and Payne to the Bengals for a third. How likely you think that is reality? Bengals don't do trades. The Bengals literally don't do trades at all. They're like one of the fewest trading teams in the NFL. The fact that they actually did the Joe Flacco trade was crazy. It was like, oh my God, no, they didn't. So I don't think it would happen. And I don't think Quan and Payne would net a third. Quan's stock is as low as it could be. When your defense is that bad and you're getting benched on Christmas Day against the Cowboys, that's a new low. But I think Daron Payne could net you a fourth. And I don't think Quan would do anything. But he's on a rookie deal, so I don't know. Maybe. I'm not gonna say no because it only takes one team. But I'm not expecting a third for those two. What's going on, Manners Nation? Welcome. Why has no one talked about Nakobe Dean? I feel like he'd be a great pickup in free agency. I think he's definitely one of those underrated ones. Let's see where they had him here on PFF in their rank. But yeah, I agree. But Nakobe Dean did have that injury, so we'll see. Where do they have him at? Nakobe Dean. Dang, he must be high or really, really low. There he is. Nakobe Dean. They have him at number 11. So yeah, Dean's 2025 season was uneven due in large part to injuries, which that is a pretty important thing. But his strong 2024 performance should still bode well for his free agency outlook. A capable blitzer, he has generated 26 pressures over the last two seasons. But they have him projected at a 3-year, $41 million contract. I just don't know if I'm willing to do that for a guy that has had injuries. But yeah, when he's on the field, he's great, though. Only 25 years old. He's not that good in the run, but he's a good pass rusher, and he's pretty good in coverage. He had 4 sacks, 10 pressures, 10 missed tackles, though. So, he's just, I don't know. He's only 25 years old. I think scheme-wise, he'd be a good fit for Jones. So, I'm with you on that, Kevion. Yeah, Dean's been hurt a lot. Do you think Tunsil deal gets done before free agency? I think so. I think so. Especially once AP said in their press conference, we want to get that done. We want to get that done sooner rather than later. And I think they learned from the whole Terry debacle. Where does Cam Madrano fit in this defense? That's a great question. But once again, I don't know. Maybe they use him as that safety. I'm not going to compare him to Van Ginkel, but maybe he can turn into that coverage guy that just plays in the box a ton. But we haven't seen him. We didn't see him play defense. So I just don't know what to expect from Madrano. I don't know what he looks like. I saw him make a big play on special teams. But I need to see Kane Medrano on the field on defense. But maybe he can just be that just coverage dude. Now Van Ginkel can do everything. And he can intercept the heck out of some screens. But maybe Kane Medrano is like that extra safety that comes on the field when they do like that big nickel, when they do that three safety package. Maybe Medrano could be one of those guys. So if you get Caleb Downs, or if you sign, let's just say they get Kobe Bryant or Brian Cook, then you have Will Harris, then you have Cam Medrano. Like maybe you can cook something up with that safety room. Like maybe. Because I mean they had Medrano as a safety, they had him as a linebacker. It was kind of like a little tweener. So we'll see. Isn't Jaquan McMillan a free agent? That's a great question. I don't know. I can't remember. Jaquan McMillan. I'm trying to think. He is a free agent. He is. Dang, he's only 25 years old. Yeah. Oh, he was an undrafted free agent. Dang. Yeah, he's a free agent though. Yeah, I like Jaquan McMillan from the Broncos. Definitely gonna add him to the list. Let's see. Abel says, let's say Marcus doesn't return. Who are some options at backup quarterback, and also some players we can restructure to get more cap money? You could restructure Deron Payne. I don't think it's gonna happen though. That's what it kind of sounds like. Laramie Tunsil getting his contract extension would help free up some cap space. Frankie Louvu getting extended could free up some cap space. I mean, you're not going to restructure Terry already. Getting rid of Marshawn Lattimore is the biggest. That's $18.5 million. Quarterback wise, you could get Kirk Cousins is going to get released, so there's that. I mean, they're not going to swing big at quarterback. Obviously, they're not going to get like Malik Willis. God, who else would even be out there? Aaron Rodgers, no. Who else do they have at quarterback? I don't think there's a lot. Daniel Jones, no. Like, I mean, they're obviously not going to sign some big name quarterback. It's just going to be like some rando backup. Russell Wilson, no. Marcus Mariota. Damn, this is a bad free agency group. If you need a quarterback, you're screwed. I mean, Derek Carr said he wants to play again. He's probably going to go like the New York Jets or something. God, there is no QBs on this list. If you need a quarterback, you are out of luck because there's not that many in the draft either. Tyler Huntley. Let's get Tyler Huntley. I'd get him. Might as well. Huntley, Kenny Pickett. Yikes. It's not good. Jimmy Garoppolo. Adam Peters reuniting with Jimmy G. Wow. Yeah, this is probably one of the worst free agent groups of backup quarterbacks you could ask for. So you're looking at Tyler Huntley or Kenny Pickett if you want like a quality backup. And I said quality pretty lightly. I'm at 230 and I haven't seen another quarterback. Yikes. And I just got to the end, 250. De'Ami Brown is literally the dead last one, of course. But yeah, I think that's the thing too, though. I think Marcus will have a market because there's teams out there that are going to want a quarterback. Miami, Arizona, the New York Jets. I think Rodgers comes back for the Steelers, but if not, they're going to need like a stopgap guy unless they just ride with Mason Rudolph. The Colts, like if Daniel Jones with his Achilles injury and what he's expecting, it's just a lot. It's a lot. If Sonny Styles at 7, then what is the best edge at 71? Probably denied. Like denied Dennis Sutton is my dream pick at 71. Like regardless, that's my dream pick. And then Derek Moore would be after him at 71. Lights out said, I'm very excited to see what free agency brings for us. 2 new coordinators, and they both scheme freaks. A lot of toys in the market for sure. And I'm glad like we're getting a new scheme on both for sure. Think we bring back Jake Mooney? I think so. I know he missed that one field goal in our tank game, and then hit the long one, of course. But yeah, no, I think he was actually really good for us. I think they bring back Jake Moody, and if he's bad in the offseason, then boom, get somebody else. I also think Dowdle would be a good move too, but he said that he was disappointed when he was getting touches taken away from him, and I think him and Bill need to split equally. I mean, shoot, I'm force feeding Rico Dowdle for sure. I mean, yeah, I know he said he was kind of upset, but he was getting a lot of carries, then he was getting no carries. So I think the Panthers just messed up. But I think Dowdle would get tons of carries in Washington. I think obviously, Bill would get his too, but Dowdle can run the rock. Run the rock. Tyrod Taylor, that's who everybody wants. Kirk wants to start again for sure. Probably going to go to Minnesota and fight out JJ McCarthy. Tyler Huntley, yeah. Tyrod Taylor. Kenny Pickett, Gardner Minshew. Yep. Who's your late round gem in this terrible draft class? My late round gem. I don't think he'll be late. I don't know. I think he'll be a 5th round pick, but Cyrus Allen, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. That's a guy that I've really liked. And like I said, Nadam Tucker, the edge rusher out of Western Michigan. But yeah, Cyrus Allen, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. Put him in the slot, and he's going to cook. I'm going to bring Marcus back on a 2-year deal. Yeah, but they're projecting him. How much are they projecting him to get? Let me see. Hold on. They're projecting him to get a lot. And I think a team would be willing to pay him a good bit. Let's see. They got him. They don't. Of course, he's not on here. Spot Track will probably have it. I mean, it would not surprise me if it was way more than what we were expecting, at all. All positions. Let's go quarterback. They have Marcus Mariota 4.8 per year. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be closer to 8 again. I think Marcus could get 8 a year. Huntley going to Green Bay, probably. Dennis Sutton motor is unmatched. He's definitely the dream pick at 71. He's insane. I love Denai. Let's say somehow we trade down and get a 2nd rounder. Who you picking? Probably Keontae Scott, nickel corner out of Miami. Or Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. I'm trying to think. I've completely avoided even looking at 2nd round picks because it's depressing. Who else? Those are probably my top 2. Or if I'm going safety, AJ Halsey out of LSU. I think he's an early 2nd. Michael Trigg, tight end out of Baylor. That's a sleeper pick. Speaking of quarterbacks, Jaden being 20-something until 2 weeks before the draft, how likely you think someone like Ty Simpson could gain steam and rise to the top 10? I love Ty. I think he's a very late 1st, early 2nd. I just don't think a team's gonna trade up for Ty Simpson at all. What do you think about bringing Drake Jackson back? I mean, I would definitely think about it. You need bodies too, so I think he's gonna be cheap. Give him a full offseason with the defense. I'm interested to see what he has though, because he can play some inside too. That's a big dude. He's a big dude. So I'll bring him back. Traden Stukes is a late round gem for sure. DB out of Arizona, but I don't think he's a late round gem anymore. I saw some mocks have him early 2nd. So I think people are starting to realize how good Traden Stukes really is. That guy's fantastic. He'd be a perfect guy here too. Barian Brown, yeah, he impressed me. Super small guy, but he's fast. He had great hands at the Senior Bowl. I was super surprised. But yeah, he looked good. Billy Bob said, I remember last year we were really high on Kyle Williams, Craig Woodson, and Femi Oladejo. Are there any guys in this draft that you feel the same way about? Yeah, I love Craig Woodson, and he had a fantastic year for the Patriots. He had some big plays yesterday, even though the whole team sucked. Yeah, like I said, some of my Kevin Coleman Jr., the wide receiver out of Missouri, is probably one of my draft crushes. Like I said, Cyrus Allen, the wide receiver out of Cincinnati, is another one. I love Kamari Ramsey. I like both safeties out of USC. I like Kamari Ramsey. I like Bishop Fitzgerald. Denai Dennis Sutton is still my guy, like through and through. So yeah, I would say my Kyle Williams this year is Kevin Coleman Jr. out of Missouri. I would say my Craig Woodson this year is Bishop Fitzgerald. He's a ball hawk. And Femi Oladejo was a quick riser, so let me pick an edge rusher. I don't think Denai Dennis Sutton should be a 71 overall. Like that's an early second round guy, like for sure. I think for sure. Devin Moore, yeah, he's a good one. Florida? No. Devin Moore, Florida corner? Maybe I'm wrong. Don't let me speak. Devin Moore, Florida. Yeah, Florida. Got it right. Making sure. Yeah, he's nice too. Oh yeah, 2 years, 16 would be a great value for Marcus. He's a big need, in my opinion, to bring back. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be worth it for sure. But I just wouldn't do another 1 year. Like, I think they did 1.8 last year. But like that 1 year, it would be like, I don't know, $6 million cap hit, and then the rest of it would be year two. Like it'd be like 10 in year two. Something a lot of people don't want to hear is that a lot of the players last year are going to be back. I'm one of those people. I don't want to hear it. Want a second, gotta magically trade back with the Jets at 16 and get their 33 pick as well. Yeah, it's going to be tough to do. Tough. Don Mega 5 said a sleeper cornerback we should look at is Josh Jobe. The boy got some dog in him. He got a little too much dog. I thought he was about to get kicked out of the Super Bowl. But yeah, I like Josh Jobe. I'm an Alabama fan, so I'm a big Josh Jobe guy. I was super hyped when he went undrafted, got an opportunity, balled out. You played fantastic with Mike McDonald. I don't see him leaving. So I mean, he was playing so good that they were comfortable benching Tariq Woolen at the beginning of the year. Like he's been fantastic. But yeah, I love Josh Jobe. Shout out to my Bama guy. So I'm gonna do a couple more of these, and I'm gonna head on out. Kevion, if we don't go Caleb Downs at 7, what safeties do you think we could pick up? One of the later picks. Let me do this because I'm starting to go blank. I've said a couple NFL draft. Let me go to the big board because I know there's a couple I'm forgetting. There's a couple. Yeah, McNeil Warren's a second round pick. Dylan Thieneman's a second round pick. AJ Halsey's a second round pick. Kamari Ramsey should be a second round pick. Zakee Whitley's a guy I really like. He could be a third, fourth rounder. Penn State. Genesis Smith is another guy I like. Bud Clark. That's the guy I was forgetting. Bud Clark is a very Dan Quinn type of safety. Experienced, super old guy. Very high energy. Ball hawk. 6'2", 190. Some people think he's a little too small. I don't think so. I think he plays super physical. And I like his game a lot. Like I said, I think he is just like exactly what Dan Quinn wants at a corner. And Durante Jones loves older, experienced defensive backs. So I think Bud Clark is the exact guy they're looking for. Cole Wisniewski out of Texas Tech, 6'4", 220. He's one of those interesting prospects, kind of a tweener. Talked about Bishop Fitzgerald. He's a ball hawk, 5'11", 205. They have him projected to go 174 in the draft. Oh, Browns tight end David Njoku announced on Instagram he will not return to Cleveland as a free agent, and his time is over. He's had a lot of injuries too, though. So yeah, well, I don't know. Harold Fannin kind of just took his job and ran with it. I just don't know if they can afford to swing on Njoku if he's not going to stay healthy. But still interesting and something I'll write about. VJ Payne, 6'3", 208, Kansas State is another late round safety I like. I would say Jalen Kilgore, he can play nickel corner, which is what I think they have him listed as, but he can also play safety from USC or South Carolina, not USC Trojans. Thoughts on Davison, Igbinosun, and Zakee Wheatley. I thought Igbinosun got drastically better in 2025, considering he had 13 penalties against him in 2024. Like he was just very, very handsy. Which is weird to say about a guy. But I thought he was much better. I like his physical profile. Once again, I think he's a guy that Dan Quinn looks for. Lengthy, bigger, physical guy. He can run with you. Great recovery speed. I like his competitive toughness. I like a lot of things about him. They said the same thing about Joey Porter Jr. coming out. Like way too handsy, way too physical, had a lot of flags, whatever. I think Davison Igbinosun is one of those guys that can be really good. Some people have as a safety. I don't see that. I think he's a dog on the outside. But I think he's like a projected third round pick too. It's like maybe if they want to go at 71, but I think they have him. Where do they have him at? Ooh, they have him at 119. So fourth round, but 6'2", 195. He'll turn 22 in like 2-3 months. So he's still a younger prospect. He's 21 right now. That's a guy you want. Like you want a younger ascending guy. And like I said, he took a big step forward in 2025. Lights Out says, see ya, Josh, got to go watch Raw. Hey, shout out to you. I'm an AEW guy. Can't do WWE, man. Any position you would double down on in the draft or because we don't have many picks? I mean, it depends who's there. Like I said, honestly, I like those edge groups. Like if they just go ham in free agency and like get a linebacker, get a safety, get a top wide receiver, but aren't able to get a quality edge because there's not a lot of them in free agency. And they're like, hey, we're going to get, let's just say, Bailey in the first at 7. And then they're going to wait. Let me see. I'm going to go to edges. Later round pick, get like Malachi Lawrence or like I said, Nadam Tucker in like the 5th. Anthony Vincent Jr., someone like that. It wouldn't surprise me. It just really depends what they do in free agency. But all right, y'all, we've been live for over an hour. I got to roll. I got some more work to do. Like I said, biggest things to remember is that tomorrow's the press conference with Dan Quinn, David Blau, and Durante Jones starting at 1:00. And then real quick, important NFL dates to remember right here. February 17th through March 3rd is the window for franchise tags. Obviously, we're not franchise tagging nobody. Nobody deserves a tag. The combine is February 23rd, which is crazy, to March 2nd, which is when we traded for Debo last season. For y'all that remember following me for that. And then free agency, the legal tampering window is March 9th through March 11th. And March 11th at 4 p.m. free agency officially begins. And then NFL draft is April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So I know it seems like it is forever away, but we are going to blink and free agency will be here. And we are going to blink and the draft will be here. So the legal tampering period literally opens 1 month exactly from today. So exciting stuff. That's when a lot of deals and contracts come out, but it's not official until March 11th on the 4th. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, y'all, cooking up a ton of stuff, especially article wise. A2ZSports.com. Go to the Washington Commanders page. Wrote about Jane Daniels' comments that he made on Radio Row. Talked about Schefter. Revealed today that the Commanders swung big on Mike McDonald, even called him for one last attempt to get him while he was visiting the Seahawks, and they couldn't get him because he said he wanted to work with John Snyder. They didn't say specifically he didn't want to work with Adam Peters, but he wanted an experienced GM, and it worked. He has a Super Bowl at, 38 years old? So he made the right choice. I hate to say it. Washington landed Dan Quinn, who could be on the hot seat, and Mike McDonald won a Super Bowl. So shout out to him. Can't hate him. He did what he had to do, made the right call. I would have loved Mike McDonald. That was like the one guy I loved throughout the process because you can just tell he's one of those next up and coming guys for sure. But it is what it is. Washington has to bounce back this offseason. They can't be conservative. They got to swing. They got to make some swings. I'm not saying be reckless, but still make some attempts. And then, of course, they got to draft properly with only 6 picks. So we'll see. But I'll be back. Maybe next Monday we can just do one of those mock off seasons with that tool that I showed y'all. I think that would be a lot of fun, actually. Or we can do a mock draft, whatever y'all want to do. But there is a mock draft in that tool, so we might as well just do the whole off season, the stick to the model, be a GM tool where we're talking about contracts, we're doing free agency, and then we're going into the mock draft with our free agency stuff already done. So maybe that's what we'll do next Monday night at 7:00 on the channel. Be sure to hit subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up as well here on YouTube. Got a ton of content for y'all. Like I said, this is going to be a fun off season, and it will go by fast. But we got a lot to talk about. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. The season's over. Everybody is 0-0 starting today, and it's time to get back to work. See y'all next week. Same place, same time. Y'all have a good one.